Varrapanyo. I am a 30-year-old American Buddhist monk, and this will be a live event, a live stream, where people will have the opportunity to ask questions about meditation, about Buddhism, about the life of a monk, possibly. It's up to you. We can kind of see what people ask and where this conversation goes. There's not a particular teaching or text or something that I'm trying to get across. I'm certainly not trying to convert anyone here to Buddhism, but rather this is an access point. This is meant to be a resource where people have the opportunity to ask questions and get answers as it relates to Buddhism, meditation, possibly the life of a monk. We're live streaming this in a few different places. So if you would like to have an audio-visual component, I'm going to post the link to the YouTube live stream down below. So in the comments section of this live talk. So if you'd like to see me and you don't plan to raise your hand and ask a question, you can join through YouTube. Okay? And I'm live streaming in HD there. And we're also, some people are watching along on TikTok, and if you're watching on TikTok, I highly recommend you join through the YouTube channel so that you'll be able to see and hear the questions that people ask who raise their hand and come up to the stage. Okay, this is an event that we do somewhat regularly, but it's not always scheduled. So we'll see kind of what comes up and what questions come to the surface, and that's where the conversation will go. All right. Hi there to Chesh and Johnsky and Yankee over on YouTube. Welcome. There's two main ways that you can ask your question. One is you can raise your hand here on the Reddit talk. You can, just like a call-in radio show in a certain way, or you can leave a comment down below and just ask your question by leaving a comment. All right, hopefully that sounds good for everyone. A couple questions in the comments already. So what did I do before I became a monk? I lived having a job, having relationships, kind of a normal American life. Someone says they find themselves getting angry at work a lot. Well, I just tell you that you should be careful about feeding anger and recognize that anger ultimately is a poison and a fire that will burn yourself, cause you to suffer, and cause other people to suffer as well. Okay, so we should be very careful of righteous anger or justified anger. Feeding anger in any way can cause a lot of suffering. Okay, Hope and okay. Come on up. And the audio quality is also much better on the YouTube live stream than on TikTok. So if you want to join, you can. Yeah. Hello. What's your question? I can hear you. All right. Maybe try again. Okay. Are you there? Okay. No illegal. Do you have a question?
Hi, I'm just curious to see what your thoughts are on people that smoke occasionally marijuana, because I know that people that I've asked have both negative and neutral views on it, but I just wanted to ask from you personally on your belief system, what are your thoughts on people that just smoke occasionally?
Yeah. The Buddhist perspective is kind of we have these 5 precepts or these 5 general guidelines for how to live. And one of them is to not take intoxicants. So, to not take things that intoxicate the mind. And in general, that's quite a good and clear rule. Um,
Well, yeah, that I know because in my since I'm a Christian, we also have the same sort of belief with that. It doesn't specify on anything for smoking drugs or narcotics, but it does specify to not intoxicate yourself because it'll cloud your judgment, and that's where you might it might lead to bad actions or bad consequences because of your lack in judgment.
sure. And some people take cannabis or marijuana medicinally, medicinal purposes. So, just kind of consider why you're using this substance, what the intention is, and use it in a skillful way. It's not inherently bad or sinful or evil to smoke or even to drink, but it does have a real natural propensity for being unskillful. Not necessarily sinful, but unskillful. So just be very aware of what you're using, why you're using it, how you're using it, and what the effects are. And then you will more skillfully navigate your life. Anything that we're doing just because it's pleasurable is probably problematic. If you're doing something only because it gives you pleasure, um, this is something you need to look more deeply at and consider why you're using it, how you're using it, and what's it all about.
Yeah, I only smoke about maybe once a week, and I never smoke alone. It's usually with company. Like during the weekend, I had a get together with me and a friend, and we were just in the backyard conversating, catching up, and we were just having a smoke. And personally, I personally I don't really see anything wrong with that, but I always make sure that I always know what I'm doing and that I'm fully aware of my actions.
Okay. Thank you, Divity. Right. We have a question from XDD13X on Reddit. How do you not identify with the ego? Like at times I feel angry or sad or confused, etc. And I know conceptually that it's just the ego, but experientially I feel like I am the one who is angry or sad. It doesn't feel like a separate ego, it feels like me. How do I separate from the ego? What the heck is the ego? What is that? Just because it's 3 letters and you have a a contextual idea or general idea of this, what the heck is the ego? This is a problematic term. This is a confusing term. So how do you not identify with the ego? You don't. You practice to live a meaningful life. You practice to be more skillful. You practice to do good deeds more and more. It doesn't matter if you empathize with your relationship or your interconnectivity with a tree. There's still a real situation that you need to take care of and you need to work with moment by moment in the present moment, relating to the body, to the mind. I guess you can use this term ego as well. But calling something the ego and then understanding that that's temporary or that, ultimately that's just selfish or not that important, right? Doesn't mean anything, right? The ego is in us all, doesn't really mean anything. Simplify, stabilize the mind. Come home to the present moment. Come home to a present moment awareness of what is happening right now and look closely at that. Investigate that. Look into this present moment experience. What is the ego? What is the self? What is reality? These aren't surface level questions. How are you living your life? Are you really truly taking care of yourself and the world? Are you working with your suffering in a meaningful, skillful way? Or are you just saying, oh, that's the ego, why can't I just see through it? Well, because you're not very skillful. Your mind isn't trained. You may not even be following precepts or living in a virtuous way, right? You may not be living in a way that's informed by wisdom, right? So naturally, you're not going to be able to see through self-fixation. And prioritizing to see through self-fixation is just going to be another trap of the ego or another trap of self-fixation. Okay? So what is the ego? What is the self? This is a question I think is not so valuable to answer intellectually, but more to open ourselves up to a questioning itself, a curiosity itself, right? And you're welcome to leave a follow-up question. But even better if you can call in and use your voice, okay? Uh-oh, a little bit of a mess up here. Sometimes it's difficult to manage streams in multiple places. Okay. Please don't be shy to call in, raise your hand, come up to the stage and ask a question with your voice. And if you're watching on TikTok, please join through the YouTube channel to ask your question, okay? The channel name is the same as my TikTok name. Monks can take medicine. As monks, we don't have anything against taking medicine. So, for some people, cannabis is prescribed by a doctor. For some people, ketamine is prescribed by a doctor. For some people, psychedelic mushrooms are prescribed by a doctor. Okay, so there's nothing against medicine or SSRIs or even Xanax or etc. There's nothing anti-medicine in Buddhism. Medicines are actually kind of a core principle of what is allowable for a monk to use, right? Okay, medical ad. You have a question?
Meditation reveal that you were dead at one point in your life? Can deep medicate? Can deep meditation reveal that you were dead at one point in your life?
You are dead. You just don't know it yet. Okay? So, what can be revealed is the truth. And what is the truth? Well, you need to drop your assumptions and your shallow ideas and your shallow ways of looking at things to investigate the truth. Some people think that the truth is the most complicated idea, the future of AI, waking up from the matrix, realizing that everything is some complicated way of seeing things. This is just called a delusion. This is called complicated thinking. This is called nonsense. So if you want to know about the truth, you need to drop your assumptions about someone, someplace, sometime, your assumptions about what birth is, what death is. What does it mean to not be born yet? What was your original face? Where were you before your parents were born? Okay? These are not questions to come up with just a on the cuff intellectual answer. These are questions to arouse in you a sensation of doubt, a sensation of wonder, a sensation of curiosity, to look directly into your experience at this present moment and kind of unpack and unravel your biases, your assumptions, your complicated thinking, and develop a deeper relationship with the present moment experience and see what's there. Okay. Ignatia said, recently I joined a meditation group and it's been very difficult for me to get focus in the meditation because of the presence of others. My mind is very disturbed. Well, it's not because of anything outside of yourself that the mind is disturbed. It's just your internal workings, right? It's your self-fixation. And meditation is not getting rid of the disturbed mind. It's not getting rid of difficulties, but is being with them. Being with the body, being with the mind, breathing and being with what's happening right now. That's meditation practice. It's not to fall into a special meditation state or experience. So, all that considered, maybe that's not a great group to join for you. But just from what you said doesn't mean that it's not a great group to join or that you shouldn't keep trying to show up there. Okay? Meditation as being with the body, being with the mind, attending to, taking care of, being with what's happening right now in a simple and curious way. Go ahead, Poutine.
Hi, Monk. So I found myself when things not going the way I want to control a lot of things, like controlling my life, my job, and also controlling people. So I'd like to know your point of view on letting go, or yeah.
Letting go, there's nothing easier than letting go. There's nothing easier than to rest, to relax, to put down the burden, to take off the backpack with our attachments, with our complicated thinking. Okay, there's nothing easier. So it's not a matter of you letting go or not letting go or the difficulties of letting go. It's more about your sincerity and your intentionality to allow yourself to put down the burden, to set down what you're holding on to, and not to just be continuously stuck in it or fixated on it.
Okay, thank you, Monk.
You know, we think the more things we can carry around with us, the more ideas or control or capacity to avoid or capacity to get that we can work with, that somehow that's going to have us live a more fulfilled and meaningful life. But what leads to a fulfilled and meaningful life is generosity, is offering out what you already have, not keeping it for yourself, not accumulating it. So try to find a way to take what you already have and to offer it out more and more. Do good deeds more and more. How do we let go? Be mindful of your breathing. Be aware of what's happening right now, and letting go happens completely naturally and ordinary.
Thank you.
Okay, Automatic, do you have a question?
Yeah. So it's just basically I actually have been meditating for a while now, but I also have like pretty bad ADHD. So when I sit down, I can usually like meditate and just focus on my breathing for a good 5 minutes. But after that, it's like thoughts just start like coming into my like head, and I can't seem to like draw myself back into that focused state that I was able to keep for like the initial 5 minutes or like 6 minutes. And I just want to know if there were like any tips you had for like keeping that focus state for a bit longer.
Don't try to keep that focus state for a little bit longer. Meditation, as I just said, is a way of being with the breath, being with the body, being with the mind. And sometimes the mind and the breath and the body are very confused, right? Very unstable, very stressed. Okay. So in that case, you need to understand that you're not going to force the mind to be under control. And it's a matter of how you consistently come home to your breathing and consistently come home to the present moment awareness of whatever is happening that's going to allow you to deepen your meditation practice over time. But it's not something you force. It's not something that you control. And if you make your meditation practice, your training of meditation to be something that is focused on controlling the mind, then you're going to burn out from it. It's not going to be something that's enjoyable. And meditation is something that is dealing with the mind itself. So your meditation should ideally be informed by high-level meditation teachers, right? By wise, compassionate teachers. And there are many people who give high level guided meditations and talks on meditations that you can also listen to. And you can go for a walk in nature as a meditation as well. You can do walking meditation.
Yeah, I guess I never thought of it like that. Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, does anyone else have a question? Okay, we have Beatly Heart. Come up and ask something.
Hello. So I have a problem with mental health. I have depression, a very bad case of it, and my birthday is like coming up, and I know no one's gonna remember because my mother' birthday is like one day before my birthday, and I want to know like some tips and tricks to not become such a slump when this day come up, if you have one.
Sure. So you go outside of your house. You go for a walk in nature. You know, these things, you hear someone say like, okay, this person says they're depressed and someone's talking about going for a walk in nature, but it's not easy to do that. Especially someone who's depressed, anxious, etc. It is not easy to just go for a walk. So there's a power in that you need to tap into, and that is the power of to abandon self-fixation, to put down the seriousness that you're giving to your self story, your idea of all these other people and they're not considering you and they're not believing in you and they're not taking care for you, etc., etc. You have that big ball of energy, right, of that upset and confused and whatever it would be, and you just go walk. So you offer all that out. You put all that down. You're not stuck in it. You're not attached to it. You're not drowning in it. You're not sinking in it. But actually, you're offering out. You're going out with that experience of depression, anxiety. We need
Thank
to
you. I'm
know.
gonna
We need to know how to drop the importance that we are giving to our self-fixation. And one of the easiest ways we can do that is to practice generosity. If we can't put down the burden that we're already holding on to, then we can't take in anything else. We can't really make use of anything else.
thank you for the tip.
Go for a walk. Don't overthink it. Connect with your breathing. Connect with your body. A massive part of our human experience is not just our complicated thinking and our intellect and the stories we tell ourselves, but it's our body, right? It's this wonderful capacity to see, this wonderful capacity to hear. And we can rely on these present moment experiences and sensations of seeing, hearing, smelling. We can look into them and we can nourish our happiness and our peace through them, not just our complicated thinking. Okay? If you need to go for a walk, maybe you're depressed and you need to go for a walk to shake things up and get some fresh air and not just stay in that crusty environment, right? Staying in that corner of the bed, depressed, anxious, going through these, kind of almost like self-harming because we're not really taking care of ourselves at that moment. If you're in that situation and you get up and you go for a walk, you don't need to just rely on or trust in your complicated thinking, the story that you tell yourself. You can actually trust in, you can rely on your breathing. You can have this deep and meaningful experience of your breathing in the present moment.
What's going on in here?
And this can be
Monk is preaching.
this can be a safe experience. Okay? So just a reminder for those people who don't know, there is a present moment. There is a present moment experience, and it is not controlled by, it is not stuck in our complicated thinking. Okay? We have access to the present moment. We have access to our breathing. We have access to our seeing. We have access to our hearing, the hearing itself, the seeing itself, the breathing itself. And this is a wonderful, wonderful joy. Okay? All of your depression, all of your complicated thinking about, this person, your person, and other people, and the depression, the anxiety, all this stuff, right? Well, okay, maybe that's true, maybe it's not, but it's not any more real. It's not any more important than your present moment experiencing in the here and now. So we've got to know how to make use of that. And we can start to know how to make use of that if we start to know how to let go. If we start to know how to practice generosity, to give up, right? To share out, to offer out what we are attached to or what we are stuck on. Okay? So this is really important and this is really powerful. If you can practice generosity, that is to just become aware and recognizing something that's valuable to you and then offering that out and sharing that out, that's going to bring so much benefit to you. And you're going to be able to make use of all different kinds of resources and teachings that you otherwise wouldn't be, because you're just stuck in yourself. You're stuck in grasping. You're stuck in holding on. Okay. So thank you for your question. I hope that your depression and your anxiety will be calmed and relaxed. Okay. And that you can work with it in a meaningful way. But trust me, that suffering and that depression and those difficulties can be transformed. It's just a matter of showing up in the right way to do that work and understanding that there are resources out there to support you, and they're not just, go to a psychiatrist and then, take some medicine. So one more reminder before we continue. This session, this live session, is being hosted. The number one place to watch and to join is here, actually on the YouTube channel. So my YouTube channel. So I posted a link in the comments, and there you're going to have the HD video, and you're going to see me and my other brother, my other monk who just joined here in the live session, who's also going to be answering some questions. But you also have higher quality audio, and that's the best place to ask your question if you'd like to, okay, to type your question and ask it. We're also here live on Reddit, so there's the possibility to raise your hand and ask a question with your voice, all right? And if you are in the Reddit and see the comment that is the link to the live stream, please upvote that so other people can see it easily if they want to join that way. All right? So we will continue answering questions. And let's see what else we have here for people's questions. I think we have two people who want to call in. So, brother, maybe you can put this in your ear.
Like before, yes.
Yeah, put it in your right side. You should be able to hear questions that people ask. Let's see here. Hold on. Yeah, I got to reconnect it.
Sounds like it's in noise cancellation.
Okay, it should be. Oh, it's getting disconnected for some weird reason.
Battery percentage.
No, the battery's good, but it might be that some other device is grabbing the signal. Yeah, it's the phone. It's grabbing onto it. Okay. Okay, so we have 3 people who have their hands raised here on Reddit. Okay, it's up to, well, you got on a lot more clothes than I do, so. Go ahead. We'll start with Huge. Huge, you want to ask your question?
Yes, take this.
Well, yeah, what I can tell you, and we'll both give an answer to this question because I think it's probably something that a lot of people run into, is this kind of situation. Um, Meditation is not something that should be done in a vacuum. Meditation is something that we should have um, a deep and contemplative and comprehensive way of approaching and understanding. So, if you want to learn about meditation, if you want to be supported to develop on a meditation path, um, it's really essential and it's really important that you have um, access to guided meditations from high level teachers. You have Dharma talks, you have a subsystem or overall teachings that are going to inform and support your meditation practice. And that also goes for being a part of a community, right? Being involved with other people who are meditators and who are interested in supporting you. From the Buddhist perspective, the number one, right, we didn't hear the question on the YouTube, and that question was just about they were a meditator before, but they fell out of it. You know, their mind became more kind of convoluted or unstable from their meditation practice. So, yeah, you need to be supported. And from the Buddhist perspective, which certainly is a gold standard in terms of meditation and enlightenment and developing wisdom, developing compassion, um, relieving suffering, dealing with suffering in a meaningful way. The idea is not just to dive straight into meditation, but rather to dive straight into prioritizing virtue and prioritizing generosity, prioritizing to do good deeds more and more, and to find an avenue, to find a way of doing good deeds more and more in your life, practicing generosity more, offering out more and more. If you can do this, then your mind is naturally going to become more stable. A lot of those sufferings and difficulties internally and externally and socially are going to start to resolve themselves, because when you do good, how do you feel? You feel good. When you do bad, you feel bad. And then somehow the internal and the external, they tend to cooperate. So if you're spending a lot of time doing what you shouldn't do, somehow work or the environment comes to greet you in a good way, or vice versa. You know, so when you're not doing what you should do internally, the environment comes to greet you in that way, where things just aren't working out. So actually, it's generosity is the doorway to the path. It's not meditation. Meditation is like the highest level of generosity. It's like moment by moment, you are letting go and giving up, right? Your self-fixation, your complicated thinking, your attachment to your physical formations, your attachment to your mental formations, right? So moment by moment, you're practicing to give that up and let that go and not be stuck on that. Well, the precursor to that is to practice generosity in general with your mental and physical actions. Okay, and what that basically turns into is that you are doing more skillful activities and you're doing less unskillful activities. All from this place of recognizing and prioritizing not what you can get and what you can avoid, but what you can be aware of and take care of and offer out. So you're welcome to join the Discord community that I run. We practice group meditation together pretty regularly, and we're also in the later stages of developing this website that's going to have a lot of recommended teachers, recommended guided meditations, recommended books, etc. And all of that is going to be very solid access point for truly getting onto the meditation path and the spiritual path. But the main thing I want to share is, if you want to develop your meditation, you need to develop your virtue. You need to develop your goodness. And a easy access point to that, the most direct access point to your goodness, is your generosity and your practice of generosity. Okay? Simple? Simple and clear?
Unclear.
Or clear and complete. That's a saying that we have here at the temple. Clear and complete. Yeah. And so prioritizing kindness, generosity, honesty, gentleness, patience, tolerance, not getting into those mind states where we fuel our anger and we fuel our negativity and all that, but we come home to our breathing and we come home to our goodness, and we practice with that as best we can. All right, so the next question from FCK, and we'll give this to my brother here, Brother Diamond. Yeah. Okay, FCK, do you have a question? You just have to unmute your mic. Yeah, go ahead.
Loud and clear. Take your time. Hmm. Hmm. Right, I understand it. Can you hear me clearly? Okay, that's actually understandable and common. People who have roommates and close friends, and most people do. So, what's interesting to note for you, important for you to note, is that you are aware that you are not in your homeostasis state, that you're not balanced right now. So, that which recognize that is the path to the clarity and peace. That's the reminder. That's your mindfulness bell. And actually, the solution is something quite simple that we overlook. Something as simple as a sauna or a nice bath or a hot shower to get yourself grounded and relaxed. And then a meditation practice that's short and sustainable. This is what I was going to say to the previous questioner. Don't put more on your plate than you can eat. My great aunt used to always tell me that. It's bigger than your stomach. That applies to the spiritual path and everything we do. We always want way more than we can handle.
Yeah.
Right? Smorgasbord. Start out with the appetizer, Start out calming your mind, relaxing your body. Then you're stable. When you're stable, you are support for others, your friends, your family. But you're right, first and foremost, yourself. So whatever you like doing that allows you to be calm, and when you're calm, your mind is more clear, do that. So a bath, a shower, whatever calming music you like to listen to, don't forget these things because they are important on the path to liberation of your mind, clarity of your mind. That's what we're talking about. You want clarity, you want what is called enlightenment, awakening. We all want that. We give it different names. We want to be one. So when you're with your best friend, you want oneness. You want a non-dual experience. That's essentially what we all want. But we have to be calm and clear before we can experience that. Does that make sense? Something very practical. What are you doing to nurture yourself in a wholesome way? Right.
So,
And that wall is what? What do you think that wall is? And only you can figure that. But the key to doing that is being calm so you can have clarity. Just like, I can't use that example in front of me. You had a dirty cup of water in here. Then you don't move the cup around and expect it to be clear. Sit it down, everything settles at the bottom, there's clarity. You have to move from a place of clarity, stability, tranquility.
right. So if you want to know the solution or the way to deal and understand with the situation, it's about coming home to your simplicity, your clarity, your peace. And then you act from there. Right? The situation might change, that person might change, you might change. Things
Right.
don't always go the way we want them to go. But if you can come home to your clarity and your understanding of how you want to be with that person, or how you see that person, how you see yourself, but from this place of clarity and stability and solidity and simplicity, then you can reach out, you can try to change it, but really you accept the way that it is and you transform it inside rather than outside. The inside is much more workable than the outside is, and it's also much more important. So,
That wall is the ego. It will dissolve. It's not absolute.
right?
Yes. Remember that nothing is absolute in this conditioned world. That's the only world we know most of the time. Pleasure.
Welcome. Yeah, so if you are watching and joining along here on the Reddit live stream, if you go to the top comment, you will see a link to us live on YouTube, so you can see us, me and my brother sitting here together. And I'm putting a reply to that comment, which is a list of resources that you can make use of moving forward. So, book recommendation, recommended teachers, link to the Discord community that I run, a loving kindness meditation, an app recommendation for your phone. All of this is free and not really religious, but just high level resources for getting on the path of self healing and transformation. Okay.
I like that app recommendation. I have one.
Yeah,
Offered
the
that.
Plum Village app, right?
Yeah. I know another one, Waking Up, is good.
Okay, so I see here that we have Elite and Sip. If you'd like to come up and ask a question, you can come onto the stage, and then we'll also see what other questions are there in the comments. Are you there, Elite? Yes, we can. We can hear you.
Good.
No, I can't.
Hold on one sec here. Give us a sec.
She's amazing inside and out. Just from things from the past, I still have like this kind of chip on my shoulder, like resentment and anger towards the world, all towards like things in the past, like super controlling parents growing up, some bad childhood and teenage bullying from the past, and just a couple past romantic relationships that, to be honest, treated me not the best, had to be prevented. As a result, I kind of feel this like weird regrets for missing opportunities in life in the past because my confidence was kind of destroyed, and only in the past few years did I really finally slowly build myself up and feel like I became my own person. And I think my question is, what's the best way to like kind of let go of that resentment from the past so I can like be happy and really enjoy the present, what I have? Because like I feel like right now I still have this like kind of chip on my shoulder and still try to like prove myself to the world, and I don't really want to feel that way forever, if that makes sense.
Yes. Makes perfect sense. Do you want to?
Go ahead.
Well, first realize the fact that you can't change anything overnight. So you just acknowledge that resentment. And that's clear comprehension, which is a chief component of what is known as mindfulness, that buzzword these days. What people don't know is what mindfulness actually is. And the most important aspect of mindfulness is clear comprehension.
To see
Knowing,
clearly.
To see clearly.
Yeah.
To know, oh, there's resentment here. But actually, the knowing of the resentment is not resentment. That's the clear faculty of awareness. You see that? It seems simple, but that's a powerful insight. So note that. Then realize this too shall pass, or the idiom, nothing lasts forever. So every time you see the resentment and you don't identify with it, you're less likely to identify with it the next time. This is conditioning.
Yeah, and you need to recognize that this experience of, you're feeling that regret or remorse or that bitterness about a past experience, this is an invitation to be intimate and to face and to be with a deeper part of yourself that needs to be understood and needs to be unraveled and worked with, right? So when that feeling comes up, that bitterness or, that chip on your shoulder, whatever it is, you kind of stop, and instead of just going about your day or going about your life trying to avoid or, see it in a certain way or understand it, oh, it's that thing again, you kind of stop and you look deeply at that experience. What is that chip? What is that regret? What is that feeling about the past inside your body? And you look at it not with your intellectual thinking, but you look at it with your wholehearted attention, right? This clear comprehension. You look to understand it deeply, not through your thinking, but through your experiencing. So the next time that feeling comes up or becomes very prevalent, very strong, you can actually try to prioritize your breathing and breathe through it, or focusing on your breathing as this way to be with and look closely at this experience, this feeling, investigate it, touch it. And through that you can understand it more, and then naturally you can unravel it. That unraveling will take place just by your awareness itself.
Indeed. Awareness itself.
No, thank you. That honestly, that makes a lot of sense. I think, for a long time, I think I was kind of avoiding that kind of thing, because I kind of denied it was there. And I guess what you guys are saying is like, each time like I think about it, slowly like dig deeper into it, and over time, it's, I guess you're saying like easier to deal with. That's what you're saying.
Yes, and don't deny. Realize. Realize. That's the awareness itself. It's simple, so simple we make it difficult though, right? That's what's so funny about it. It's like, what do you mean awareness itself? I have that all the time. Big deal. No, you don't. We're asleep. That's why there's the concept of awakening, because we're sleepwalking all the time. Like, all the time.
Your real eyes don't realize your real eyes. So your real eyes are not the content that you see. It's not about you like or you dislike something, or it's blue or red or bright or dark, but your real eyes is your realization of seeing itself. The gift, the treasure, the preciousness of seeing itself. Awareness itself, breathing itself. So to breathe, breathing, to see, seeing. And this is a way to enter into a closer being within, a closer looking at those experiences inside of your body. You don't just need to take it at the intellectual level, but you can actually enter into it through this meditative approach, this direct experiencing approach. Look at it for what it is here in the present moment and not what you can imagine that it is. Because we can imagine and complicate things constantly and endlessly. So, not relying on the intellect, but relying on the breathing as a way to look at and to be with what's happening inside. Okay. Ray Yu, are you still here on the YouTube? Ray Yu?
Ray Yu.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Elite. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Let's give a round of applause for Elite. Wonderful. Great. Okay, so Ray Yu says, as a young adult who has been studying and practicing for years, how would you recommend starting the journey to monasticism? This is a big question. You know, this is a real valuable and important question. The number one thing you can do is connect with senior monastics, other Western monastics, have a call with them, have a meeting with them. Western monasticism is just in the beginning stages, right? There are only a handful of places for Western monastics to go and ordain in the U.S. There's only one monastery or two or something like that where you can actually go and live with other Western monks and be with senior Western monks, you know, for a long period of time. Now, if you're very conservative minded, then maybe there's more places that are possible, but it's very, very few. So you have to be a unique person, and you have to have a lot of intention and a lot of sincerity to renounce, not to get. Because becoming a monk is not about getting what you want. It's about letting go of, abandoning everything that you have, and stepping forth into the homeless life, into the wandering life. You don't know what you're going to get out of it. You don't know how you are going to make your way as a monk. You have no idea.
No idea.
And if you become a Western monk in the modern, world, it's you're on the tip of the spear, and you need to be ready for a lot of difficulties, and you need to be ready for a lot of letting go, and to follow, because it's not, Samsung doesn't have a monastic order. Apple doesn't have a monastic order. So if you want to ordain, you want to become a Buddhist monk, you better be ready for trial and error. You better be ready to make use of what's available to you. And that might be all that you're going to be able to, the only way.
There's no beta program, right?
There's no, it's not even in beta. It's in alpha, this pathway of becoming a Western monastic. There are some avenues and some pathways that are more established, but they're quite few. And if you don't fit in those, it doesn't mean that you can't be a monastic. Right. It's still possible. It's just about your relationships. So if you message me later on Discord, we can definitely talk about it, and we'll see where you're at and what's possible. Yeah. All right. Anyone else on Reddit have any questions? Anyone want to raise their hand and ask a question on Reddit? Looks like we've moved through most of the questions. A reminder that if you go to the comments of the live talk, you will see a link to the live stream on YouTube. But under that, you'll see a list of resources for recommended teachers and guided meditations, and also a song that we'll sing when we finish up this session. Okay, Will says, do you have any tips on fighting addiction? I've been struggling with a sugar addiction. Whenever I feel like I'm doing well, I eat a little bit of sugar and I crave it once again. Will, I mean, don't overthink it. If you are eating yourself into morbid obesity or diabetes, of course, that's a serious situation, but a little bit of sugar every now and again is not really something to overthink about too much.
Right. And you can always just reduce it a little
You
bit.
reduce it a little bit.
For example, agave.
Yeah.
When I have a sweet tooth,
Do some
agave is
agave.
low glycemic. You can use that. Some people don't like the taste, maybe, but find what works for you. Brown sugar. Just switch to something that is a lower glycemic or a smaller amount. It's like tea. You can go cold, or coffee. You can go cold turkey, or you can say, today only 1 cup in the morning, and then I'm giving my body 12 to 15 hours of no caffeine the next day again. That's the practical way. Everyone can't go cold turkey, and it's not advisable to do that anyway.
As long as you have the prioritization of this activity being pleasurable but not good for you, you will move in the direction away from that activity, slowly but surely. And if you have a serious sugar addiction, go to an NA meeting, go to a Narcotics Anonymous meeting, go to an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting.
Same principles.
Yeah, just listen. Don't tell them you're having one too many bowls of cereal a day, because they might not be happy that that's your position. But you don't need to share. But being around other people who are dealing with addiction and being vulnerable, being exposed, and that can be quite good. All right, and that applies to cigarettes, what have you. But be patient, go slowly, and keep moving in the direction of your wisdom. Overeaters Anonymous. And even if you certain conditions come together, and then we are going to do that addictive behavior again, right? So even if those conditions come together and you're not in a place, you can turn that off if you want, and you're not in a place to control, right, that behavior, so you're going to do it. Even then you remember, this feels good, but this is not good for me. This is not something I want to keep doing more and more. You kind of remember that. You do the activity, you eat the sugar, you masturbate, whatever it is for you. And then afterwards, you practice compassion to yourself. You practice patience for yourself. You practice gentleness, right? All of these things are not fueling your self-fixation. And so they're not going to be fueling this addiction. Self-abuse or animosity towards ourselves, or getting super worked up about a relapse or not doing something perfectly, is just a waste of energy, and it's feeding that suffering that leads us to do that coping mechanism anyway. That addiction is ultimately empty. Your unskillful activity is ultimately empty. Don't get stuck in it. Okay? Just continue going in the right direction. The Rod Father said, is good actually good, or is good what the person thinks is good? Asking because something good 1,000 years ago could now be bad, right? This is not good and bad in Buddhism. This is just nonsense. So what's good is what's skillful. What's bad is what is unskillful. The simple motto, simple way to understand it: when you do good, you feel good. When you do bad, you feel bad. That's all you need. And if you want to know about what's good and what's bad, get involved in doing good more and more. Or, don't do this, but get involved in doing bad more and more. And you'll know you feel bad. You feel a mess. Your mind is unstable. You suffer. Whereas if you do good, you are helping people. You are offering out. You're bringing benefit. And you feel that in your mind as well. Just understand it that way. A lot of people want to spend, years of their lives thinking about what's good and what's bad and what's moral relativism and what's moral realism, and it's all just nonsense. It's just philosophical garbage. Okay? If you do good, you feel good. If you do bad, you feel bad. And if you've got a more serious problem, seek help. And somebody will tell you, no, you don't use the toilet in the middle of Costco. You go to the bathroom. You go to the restroom, right? It's that simple. So I'll tell people when they ask me, when the philosophizers ask me, Mr. Monk, how do you know what's good or what's bad? How do you know that? Go to Costco and drop trowel, use the bathroom in the middle of Costco, you'll know right away. You won't have to ask a monk what's good, what's bad. Trust me, you'll know right away. All right? And if you don't have that capacity to know that dropping trowel in the middle of Costco is not good, then you need to seek help. And seeking help means that you reach out. You don't just send one message. You don't just make one phone call. You make two. You make three.
Right.
We have in the Buddhist tradition, you ask 3 times. So if you went to the Buddha, or if you went to a monk, and one time that doesn't give an answer, 2 times doesn't give an answer, kind of the rule of thumb is that third time, that's, you've got to give some answer. You might say yes, you might say no, but you've got to give some answer. Whereas before, you're just ignored. Because, is this important or not? Is this important to you or not? If you just ask once and you give up, it's not that important. If you just ask twice and give up, okay, it's a little bit important, but it's not necessary to give an answer. If you ask 3 times, okay, this is something that needs to be answered. This is something that person is going through and needs help with. So it's the same with Buddhism or meditation or a spiritual path, or understanding yourself, or a job, or relationship, whatever it is. You have to keep showing up, you have to keep trying, you have to keep asking. Once isn't enough, twice isn't enough. Okay, you try 3 times, now you get an answer, now you'll know about it.
Now you'll know.
It goes to the story yesterday, I think it was yesterday, last night, or one of the poems we read, one of the readings. We continued with the book that me and you read 2 days ago.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And it was this poem, this teaching about whenever something happens, maybe we can just pull it up here.
I'll find it once you unlock it.
Let's see what this information is. We're looking for read era. It says read era. Oh, it's right here. Okay. Yeah. Here it is. No, that's not it. Uh-oh. Oh, we got lost here. This is...
You covered a lot more.
Going the wrong way. Oh, this... Hold on, everybody. I'm always aware of the attention spans of people on the internet, so... Once you do something like this, 90% of people have tuned out. Okay.
Let's hope not.
Yeah. Why is it turning dark like this?
Yes, maybe it's on auto.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
Is that the one you covered last night?
No, it's
Because I like that one. That's profound.
it's gonna be okay. Dharma verse. Take 3 steps forward and think. Then take 3 steps back and think again. If you want to know truth in life, the thieves of the 6 roots are accomplices in crime. Anyway, I don't want to get into all that, but it's 3 steps forward, 3 steps back. You keep stepping into it, you keep stepping back from it, so you step back and to be aware, to look closely, to contemplate. You step 3 steps forward to look deeply, to take care, to contemplate. You don't just live a shallow life, okay, a meaningless life, but you actually get involved and you look closely. All right? We have some people whose hands, we have Secret Wash. Okay, Secret Wash coming up, and you can ask your question with your voice. And if anyone else has a question in the YouTube, you can ask, okay? Hey there, Bree. All right. So question...
Some water.
A question that came through is, can a woman right? Can a woman or gender non-conforming person become a monk? Yes, it is possible, but it's going to be more difficult. So we've got a black man here. It's true, isn't it?
Yes.
And we
African-American black.
and we have a white man here. Okay, so we both have male privilege. All right, we're both in an advantageous position by being male, but me being white, I have a white privilege. So even a more of a advantageous conditions that are not based on my actions or my merit, right? So in becoming a monk, you have a society that it can be very sexist, and then also globally, we have a virus of colorism, right? So if you are a male, there's more avenues, there's more access points for you to ordain and become a monk. It's going to be a little bit more accessible, a little bit easier to become a monk. If you are a white man, even more so, right? Because there's or an American as well. Being an American, being an English speaker, these are all advantages. If you are a woman, and maybe especially a non-gender conforming person, non-binary, it's certainly possible for you to become a monk. Maybe not in the way that you want to be a monk, but it's just going to be a little bit more difficult. It's not going to be as easy as it would be for someone like me, or even someone like Bhante Diamond over here, Brother Diamond. Thank you, brother.
Yes, excellent answer. Not impossible, but not easy.
Yeah.
For someone in the LGBTQ sphere.
And even for us as men, and even for me as a white man, and as a monk, I couldn't really tell you how I made it to this point. It certainly wasn't because everything was set up and laid out for me, and that everyone was, oh, you do this and you stay here and we'll take care of that and we'll work with this and we'll work with that. It just had to keep going. It was my intentionality. It was my sincerity.
Likewise.
It was good friends I met along the path.
Like this.
Yeah, like this.
Brotherhood.
Yeah. Okay, Secret Wash, are you there? Are you there, Secret Wash, to ask your question here on the Reddit live stream?
Internet went out.
Okay. You have any other questions?
Okay.
Okay, so Exalia asked in a comment, help. I seem to have no motivation to do what I should do a lot of the times. How can I overcome this character flaw? Brother Diamond, maybe you want to take this one.
Well, that's a habit. Everything we do is a habit. And so, I can't remember the book, but I can give you advice from a recent book that I learned about. It was summarized for me, and that is habit stacking. Actually, it's James Clear. Atomic Habits. You know about that?
Yes. I never read it, but I've heard it's quite good.
You know the gist of it. It's excellent, even getting the gist of it. But so, what you do is habit stack. You eat every day, right? Of course. You eat.
Gotta eat.
First of all, can you hear me?
Yeah, they can all hear you.
Okay. So, your habit of not doing something, that is a habit. So whenever you do something you have to do, that's when you couple it with what you want to do. You didn't say exactly, but whatever you're not motivated to do, you couple that with what you do every day in some way, however you can, being practical and compassionate to yourself. That's another simple yet powerful practice. Whatever you know you're going to do, say, whenever I do that, I will do X, Y, and Z. And that way you build a new habit. It's called habit stacking.
right? And so you need to do. You know, it doesn't. You have motivation. It's not the best thing to do. Whatever. All these things are just. You still have that earbud. All these things are just irrelevant, and you shouldn't think so much about it. It doesn't matter. You have so much motivation or not. The journey of 1,000,000 miles literally begins with the first step. So I also like to think about it this way. It's just like jumping off of a cliff. And ideally, we don't want to get ourselves into that situation or that position, right? But it's just like jumping off a cliff. Once you take that first step, you're doing it. You're involved. You know, you're falling. So you want to become a walker or a runner, or you want to get more involved in physical health or anything. I'm just going to close it. Oh, you're walking. Oh, uh-oh.
I got it.
Okay. You know, that first step, you're already doing it. You've already achieved it. So just keep showing up and do and show up. And if you feel motivation to do nothing, well, don't just stay in bed, because that's probably doing something. Go for a walk.
Which is a habit.
Take a shower, which is a habit. Become a habit, right? Do something good. Be generous. Just offer out. Whatever it is that you are wrapped up in, your depression, your tiredness, your anxiety, offer out. Get up and walk out and go out. Okay, just like that. And it's gonna help a lot, because you refresh and restart. Okay, Secret Wash, you have a question?
Yeah, we've been waiting on Secret Wash.
Hi.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
I can hear.
Yes.
This is interesting, right?
Yeah. Like the power went out here, so sorry.
It's okay. It's all right.
Okay, go ahead, Secret. You can unmute your microphone. All right.
Maybe the power went out again.
Well, some people are not. It's not very intuitive using this, asking the questions in a particular way. All right. So any other questions?
She'll ask again.
Hello.
There you go, Secret. What's your question?
Well, you guys were talking about habits and health, I guess, earlier. I think it's what I heard.
Mm-hmm. There we go.
So I'm wondering what a monk does when they become constipated. What do they do to relieve
Constipated?
that? Yep.
Constipated, you say?
Okay, very good question.
Practical questions today.
Secret.
Oh, sorry. I don't know if this room is for that, but...
Yeah, of course. So
Why
what do
not?
we do when we become constipated? What do we do when we become full of shit and stuck and locked into our depression, our complicated thinking, our pride, our arrogance, our desire, our foolishness, our fear, stuck in a certain place, just full of ourselves, full of nonsense, right? What do we do when we fall into that place, in that position? We begin again. Refresh, restart, show up.
Begin
Do
anew.
good deeds. Begin anew. Start new. Start fresh, right? Offer out whatever it is that you are holding on to. Literally, go for a walk. Abandon your entire story up to this point and step into freedom, right? Stepping into freedom. Walking out the door, taking a fresh breath, finding our mindfulness, finding our happiness, finding our peace, finding our freedom in the here and the now. Not in our complicated, self-fixated beliefs and ideas and stories. Abandon it, drop it, put it down to the degree that you can. Come home to the present moment, and of course, sing a song. All right, brother, do you know happiness is here and now?
Yes.
All right.
I'm responding to a question on there too.
So I invite everyone to join us for a happiness song, and this is something to cure and to deal with and resolve those situations when you are full of crap.
Yeah.
All right?
There you go.
Mind and body full of crap. This is how you can deal with it. Whether that's conspiracy theories, whether that's worries about your past, your future, just being stuck in complicated thinking. If you're in that situation, you can sing a song, and I implore you to join us in singing this song together. So the lyrics to this song are in the comment section if you're on Reddit. And I also just posted it as a comment on the YouTube live stream.
Good, okay.
All right? So let's try this together. We can all take a deep breath. First time you can listen to me and Brother Diamond sing it, and then the second time you can sing along. And make sure you have the lyrics in front of you, all right? Okay. Brother Diamond, you want to take the lead?
Actually, go ahead and then
I'll
let
take
the
it.
store
Sure.
consciousness kick
That's
in.
right. Okay. Deep breath in. Happiness is here and now. I have dropped my worries. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. No longer in a hurry. Happiness is here and now. I have dropped my worries. Somewhere to go, something to do, but I don't need to hurry. Okay, so this time, everybody at home, everyone who's following along at home, this is your time to sing along with us. All right, so make sure you have the lyrics in front of you, and try to harmonize and sing together with me and Brother Diamond, all right?
There's too much light.
So deep breath in.
I have to hold it.
You can sing along, all right? Deep breath in. Happiness is here and now. I have dropped my worries. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. No longer in a hurry. Happiness is here and now. I have dropped my worries. Somewhere to go, something to do, but I don't need to hurry.
Too bright. There's some comments.
Yeah. So anyone who's watching on TikTok, we're going to end the live stream on TikTok. So if you want to join us, please join on the YouTube channel, okay? And the YouTube channel's name is Bhante Varrapanyo on YouTube. So if you want to keep joining
It's not
us
Monk Life anymore?
and see us, no, I changed it to my name. If you want to join us, Bhante Varrapanyo on YouTube, go over there now. We're going to end the live stream on TikTok. And we are in the business. We are businessmen. young men in business of cultivating joy and happiness and peace, okay? So join us in our investment project, investing into happiness, peace, joy, gentleness, simplicity. My goodness, what a good investment, okay?
Best
And we have a
investment.
money-back guarantee. If you invest in your happiness,
Money.
you will be happy at that moment, and you will experience that there's no need for a refund. Uh-oh. Oh my
They show
goodness
you a monk.
gracious.
You see that? They show us monks
they
because
give
we're
the monk
monks.
there. Okay.
Sebetulnya sangat banyak ya yang dia.
Technology can be very
Use
very
it
abrasive
very
and
wisely.
intense. Yeah, you have to be careful because situations and things can be quite abrasive at times.
Please send me an address so I can send a donation. Someone says. So you have a donor.
If you
kind enough
want to donate and support, then you just send a message. All right, 3 steps forward, 3 steps back. Maybe you don't want to support. Think about it. All right. Maybe it's not a good idea. But if you really want to, then just send me a message, and it's possible you can make a donation. It's certainly possible. Okay.
She said you are cool monks. Thank you.
All right. Do we have any other questions or comments for people who are watching on YouTube? And we also have someone on the Reddit live stream.
Someone asked the question, you reached nirvana, so I'll quickly answer that. There's nothing to reach. Give up that concept. Give up the question and see what remains. Give up all questions and observe what remains. Then you also realize the question regarding what someone has or doesn't have is not important. But, good question. LGBTQ acceptance. Why not? We're all humans, aren't we? We're all facets of consciousness. I'm just going through some questions here.
Yeah. Okay, Ubaba Magic, do you have a question?
What next?
Yes. It's about forgiveness. How do you forgive people that have betrayed you? And I was thinking to just forget about them, but they're part of your family, some of them, and some of them part of your life. But their betrayal has been very big, like stealing money from you and really being malicious and harmful, because I've tried to reconcile, but they pretend like I can't reconcile. I've even tried to be the bigger person and like apologize for some perceived things where one could deserve behavior like that. But it's clearly, no matter how much I'm hurt, I'm always at fault. So I just think I want to move on, but I cannot avoid them. So it's hard for me when I see them to not remember and be hurt. That's it.
Mm. You don't have to take that one. So, betrayal. Am I clear? Or do we lose the connection?
Yeah, so you need to set boundaries. Recognize that other people are not real.
Oh, we did lose the connection.
You do not need to get stuck in your mindset or your understanding about them as this
it's gone.
Solid person, or this kind of malicious or big complicated idea, this negativity, this confusion. What I find is really a major burden about someone betraying me or being negative or kind of hurting me is that I fall into this this way of thinking about, you know, their experience of betraying me and what they got out of it, and how it's like there's this big complicated self story of them in relationship to me, their self story in relationship to my self story. But what I understand is that people act in a certain way, being like an agent, right? So in a situation of a movie or a TV show and seeing life like that, it really can be very stressful and confusing that people are taking advantage of me or judging me or causing suffering to me. But I think it's helpful to see that, you know, people who cause other people to suffer, for example, they act that way because they are suffering. People who act maliciously or negatively to take advantage or to harm in some way, it's because they had conditions and experiences that led them to act in that way. So when you forgive that person, it's almost that you stop believing in them, or you stop fixating on their experience in that story, in that situation, and rather you understand that it's just a matter of cause and effect. It's a matter of particular conditions came together, particular causes came together, and an experience like that happened, but there wasn't this villain in the story. There wasn't this hero in the story. It's just a matter of things happening, coming together and falling apart. You understand what I'm saying, Ubaba?
Not really, because they were a villain, including stealing money, and some of them are part of my family, so I can't trust them anymore. You know, it's
Yeah,
kind of,
so
I
this is
understand that they have a
Ubaba.
problem,
This you
but
need to be mindful of, Ubaba. Forgiveness has nothing to do with being submissive to another person. The same with generosity. Set clear, strong boundaries. Forgiveness is something that you do for yourself. But you don't forget about what that person did, or that they were unskillful, or that they have a tendency to be unskillful. And actually, we learn to set more clear and direct boundaries, right? By having difficult experiences, so that moving forward, we can be more skillful, we can be more careful, we can protect ourselves in a more deeply and realistic way. Forgiveness is not submissiveness. Forgiveness is that you let go of that trauma and that suffering inside of yourself, because you're releasing your involvement with that situation. You're releasing your emotional entanglement with that person, that place, that time, that story. You're aware of it, you're informed by it, you grow from it, but you're not stuck in it anymore.
Not stuck in the
You're not locked into it anymore. You're aware. You know, you're more aware than you were before. You know about that person really has those tendencies towards those difficulties and towards those problems. Forgiveness is not submissiveness.
Right,
Generosity is not being submissive to other people's desires. A lot of people always ask this question or bring this up about, hey, I do everything for other people, but I never feel good and I'm being taken advantage of. Being taken advantage of has nothing to do with generosity, right? Forgiveness is to release yourself from that situation and to give yourself peace. To forgive that person is to understand that they cause suffering because they're suffering. They're unskillful. They're unwise. So that's why they acted that way.
So do I avoid them? Do I...
You set those boundaries. You set those boundaries, and you make as much space for yourself. If you need to take time away from that person, you take time away from them fully. And you set a clear boundary. You say, look, we had this experience together. I don't feel comfortable with you around me. I don't feel comfortable with us interacting in that way anymore. And that's it. And I need time and I need space. And you might also need to reach out to other people to help you with that. Don't just put that all in yourself. Don't isolate yourself because you had that difficult experience. Let other people know about what's going on, and if you need help with that, that's super important, so that you can make sure that boundary is clear. And if that person is running around hurting other people, and if you have a direct experience of that, you let them know, right?
Okay, what if
boundaries.
they continue hurting me because, let's say, they're manipulative, so they say, "Oh, I didn't steal the money."
No. You have to fight. You have to fight. This person is mischievous. This person is unskillful. You have an experience about that. You have to fight. You don't play games with people. You put a boundary. You put a barrier. You say, no, I'm not to be involved with you anymore. I'm not playing this game with you anymore. You step back.
Yes.
Okay? You put up that detachment. You step back. And if their presence is so alive and active in your life that you can't step back by yourself, then you need to ask for support. You need to let other people know what's going on as clearly as you can.
And is it weakness if I sometimes miss them or sometimes want to lie and even apologize and say, sorry, you didn't steal the money, even though me and other people saw that they stole the money and we know they have a problem?
It's not weakness. You just need to do your best. You need to really take care of yourself. You understand that?
So basically whatever I feel like is the right thing to do, because sometimes it's up to them. Like, let's say once I've taken care of myself, but they can't forgive me for exposing their weakness. So sometimes I miss them, but they can't forgive me for exposing their weakness.
You need to simplify and stabilize your mind first and foremost. If your mind isn't simple and stable, then you're going to be out of touch. You're not going to be able to deal with the situation meaningfully. So you have to come home to your breathing, come home to your body, come home to your relaxing and letting go of being stuck in that situation. And then from there, you do your best. There's no perfect answer for every situation because it's not a perfect situation. It's a problem. And you need to actively work on it. But mainly, and most importantly, you need to work on the side of yourself, your heart, your body, your mind, and taking care of those as much as you can, as deeply as you can. Some relationship, some person, is going to dissolve. They might be dead already unless they're sitting in front of you. You don't know if they're dead or alive, or if they are here or somewhere else, or if their mind state has completely changed or not. So don't just fall into this dreamlike experience of you two as being characters in a big story, because that's not reality. That person might literally be dead right now. That's the truth. Not whatever imagination is fueling this this dynamic. So come home to simplicity, come home to your breathing, come home to the present moment, and calm and relax, and then go from there and do your best.
Pivot from there.
But the truth is not that person exists in any particular kind of way, psychologically, emotionally, in a story-based way. The truth is that person might be dead.
But what if I sometimes feel like it ruins my self-esteem because that person, one of those people, is my relative? So I know, unfortunately, I get constant reminders of what's going on with them. And that relative sometimes ruins my self-esteem because when I remember what they did to me, sometimes I feel like, am I that unworthy that I deserve my own relatives to steal from me?
A lot of thinking and judgments there. Self-judgment.
Yeah, you need a lot of support. You're a young person and you need a lot of care and support. You probably need a therapist. You need to work through this with a lot of support. So you need to reach out for support. Try to Try to be with yourself in a very intimate way. Connect with your breathing and your body, your gentleness. Spend more time out in nature to feel that independence and that individuation. You existing not in relation to that relative, but you existing in relation to your heart, your breathing, your body, the natural environment, the quietude.
Mm-hmm. The quietude, the natural environment, the natural state. But that's deep, That's simple but very deep teaching. But that is the solution, but most people can't just go into the natural state. So that's why we give all of these other...
What I'm saying is that you have a fantasy, or you have an idea, let's not call it a fantasy, but you have an understanding, a belief, this is my relative, I'm in relationship to this person, and so happened, okay? The reality is that that's your perception, that's your experience, and that's okay. You should honor that experience. But the reality is that that person might be dead now, and you don't accept that. You don't understand that, but that's reality, okay? Unless that person is sitting in front of you right now, that person may literally be dead. Are they likely to be dead? Probably not, right? They're probably not dead, but they might be dead. That's reality, not, just... well, they're my relative, and, it's like this, it's like that. Everything is changing. Everything is flexible. Everything is impermanent all the time. Okay? So, yes, you are related, you are connected to that person, but you're also connected to all people. You're also connected to all reality, to the entire planet Earth, to the sun in the sky. Right? So you need to kind of walk back and calm that that strong attachment to that complicated thinking and that way of seeing things. What do you think, Ubaba?
I guess I have to try really hard. It's
Well, you've got to relax really hard. You got to let go really hard, but also set clear boundaries in that environment and with that person.
it's a work in progress. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. It's just difficult when you get reminders, because it's really easy to forget when it's something away from you, because I live with that person, so I could go and see if they're alive or what they're doing.
Yeah, in some of these situations, we need to go to the police. In some of these situations, we need to run out of that house and start knocking on doors for help. Right? Because there's also this energy of attachment to the way that things are, the way that things have been, this story about yourself, this story about the other person, this identity entanglement, right? And so even though stuff is really dangerous and difficult and suffering, we're somehow attached to it. So the point is not the right or the wrong of it. It's to take care of it as best you can. And sometimes that means you need to be brave and that you need to fight. You need to run. You need to start banging on doors for somebody to help you.
To share with other people, correct? So it's okay, because I'm embarrassed. Sometimes I'm embarrassed.
But that's what we need to
share what's going on.
Of course, but that's what we need to fight. That's the fight, okay? You don't let someone keep hurting you. You don't let someone keep taking advantage of you. You sprint out of that door and you start banging on doors for help. But you do so, and it needs to be somewhat calm and somewhat stable so that people listen to you and understand. You understand, Ubaba? You got to be ready to refresh and restart and begin a whole new life in a whole new world. Because that is much better. Like, everything changing and everything falling apart is much better than you staying in a situation where you're being hurt. And where your heart
like
is being destroyed.
It's just hard to get help when you're hurt, because that person has a lot of authority. And some people believe me because they already were shocked and found out themselves about the stealing. But a lot of people can't believe it as well. So it's sometimes, some things are very hidden. So sometimes it's hard to get help when people don't believe that you're the victim.
What country are you in?
Secret? I don't like to share that.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so, you know, if you're looking for gold, right? If you're a gold miner, what is a gold miner called? A gold miner, right? Someone who's looking for gold. You don't just go to one place and see that there's no gold there and say, "Oh well, I guess this is it. This is the way that things are." Or two places or three places and you don't find gold, right? You don't say, "Oh well, this is it. I guess I'll just sit here and, until I dissolve, right? Until my body dissolves, until I'm poor and destitute and just rock bottom sick and dead, right?" What does the gold miner do, Ubaba?
I guess I have to try as many people
You
until
keep
somebody
looking
brings
for gold. You keep looking for gold. And you do so in a brave way. And you understand that this is your bravery. And this is your path. And this is your freedom. Yes, you find immediate help and professional help and high-level help. Be as skillful as we have to be contemplative, especially some people live in different countries where the situation is not modern Western situation, right? So you need to be aware of that, and you use your wisdom, you use your intelligence and all that to navigate this, but you keep going for help until you find gold.
Deal with the people that are part of the family, but
that's your battle. That's your fight.
That person, do I ignore them? Do I not forgive them for not believing me?
You do what you need to do to take care of yourself and take care of your heart. To fight, to be free, to go forward, to be brave. That's what you do. You don't need to. Don't fall into this complicated thinking about what you should do or what you shouldn't do or what they want you to do or what would be nice to do or not nice to do. When you're in this kind of situation, you've got to go forward. And then you look back. Then you consider, well, how about this relationship or that relationship? But mainly when you're being hurt like this and going through that difficulty like this and you're in danger like this, you need to move forward. And you can't carry those other people with you at that time because right now you're not even able to carry yourself. So first you have to get to that point where you can carry yourself. And that's what you're doing when you go forward and you seek help and you do your best. I mean, you can reach out to me. That's what you're doing right now. Okay, but just continue and let we can't carry other people around with us. When we're born, when we die, we are, in some sense, we are together, but we are alone together. So don't worry too much about carrying other people around with you right now. More focus on really to take care and to be safe and to get the help that you need. And finding a therapist can be a good place to start if that's reasonable or if that's realistic. That a therapist is someone who you can tell, a lot of deep stuff to, and they can support you. But set right from where you are, set boundaries and say, look, do the best you can do, dear, and understand that there are good people out there who want to help you and help you to be safe, and you're not alone, and that you can get through this and that you will get through this, okay? I can just hear from your voice that you're brave and you're intelligent and you're ready to do your best in this situation. So please do that, okay? Don't give up. Don't fall into that sinking, right? We sink into a particular feeling or a state. Don't fall into that. Keep going. Keep staying on the edge, the present moment, and go in that direction you need to go in. Okay? You understand, dear?
Thank you. That's definitely good advice, and then it will come to me at the right time, I guess. What's the right path?
That's right.
How to deal with this situation.
That's right. And remember that you don't just do this for yourself, but you do this for the other young people who are going to come after you and who also have been in a situation like this. Do you understand that? You're not alone in what you're going through. Okay. Ubaba, will you sing a song with me?
Sure.
Okay. Let's see what song we're going to sing together. And I'm going to put the lyrics in the one of the comments. Okay, here we go. This is the song. This is the song for us to sing together, okay? So I'm going to go to the... Do you know how to go to the comments of the live talk here on Reddit?
I'm not sure.
All right. Anyway, I'll go through the lyrics with you. But if you can go to the comments and sort by new, like the newest comment, then you should find the lyrics that I just left.
Okay.
And I'm going to put these...
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to put these on YouTube too. And I also have a Discord server, Ubaba, and we'd love to have you there. You can join our community and practice with us if you like. Okay.
Thank you. I'm not sure how to use it, but
That's okay. That's okay. All right, so do you see the lyrics?
Mm-hmm.
I am remembering. You see it? No. It's I have arrived. You see that?
No, I see forgiveness is for you.
Forgiveness is for you. Maybe try again. There should be a comment that says, I have arrived, I am home in the here and the now. No, it's the next one. It's the newest one. You see it?
I have arrived. I'm
Yes,
home,
okay.
here
Perfect.
and now.
All right, here we go. So let's sing this together, Ubaba. You're going to be my second singer because the other monk that I was with, they didn't, they went out. They left me alone. So we do this together. Okay. So we'll do it line by line, and then we'll sing it together as a whole. Okay? Are you ready?
Yes.
First time, you just listen to me sing it, and then the second time, you sing together with me, all right? So the first time,
Yeah,
listen.
I'm not good at singing.
No, I can hear you're going to be a good singer. It's just to have fun. That's what's most important,
Okay.
all right? All right. So first listen, and then second time you do with me. I have arrived. I am home in the here and in the now. Okay, you try that with me, Ubaba?
Okay.
All right, deep breath in. I have arrived. I am home in the here and in the now. Okay, let's try that one more time. And don't be shy, and you can also put a smile on your face. And this is a declaration. This is a setting a boundary for all of those strange people that are around us. We didn't to talk to them, to play with them, their emotion, their idea. No, we tell to them, I have arrived, I am home in the here and the now, period. Right? You follow?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's try. Deep breath in. I have arrived. I am home in the here and in the now. All right, let's try the second line. I am solid, I am free. So the first time you listen. I am solid. I am free. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. I am solid. I am free. Perfect. One more time. I am solid. I am free. Okay, last line. In the old ultimate I dwell. In the ultimate I dwell. All right, so everyone who's watching live on YouTube and everyone who's listening live on Reddit, don't forget to join us in this song, and we're going to sing it all together now. All right, are you ready, Ubaba?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for singing with me. Here we go. Deep breath in. I have arrived. I am home in the here and in the now. Again. I have arrived. I am home in the here and in the now. I am solid. I am free. I am solid. I am free. In the ultimate I dwell. In the ultimate I dwell. Okay, Ubaba, this time so everybody can hear you. Ready?
Yeah.
All right. I have arrived. I am home in the here and in the now. I have arrived. I am home in the here and in the now. I am solid. I am free. I am solid. I am free. In the ultimate I dwell. In the ultimate I dwell. Okay. Woo! Thank you, dear, for singing with me.
Hello, good morning. What's the name says unknown. What's the name?
So we will finish up. We will wrap up with our live stream, our live session together. I want to thank everyone for joining and participating in this event. If anyone wants to reach out or ask a question or connect with me further, please understand that I am available. And if you want to send me a message on Reddit or in any way, I'll do my best to get back to you. If you go to the comments of this live stream, especially here on Reddit, you'll find a list of resources, of recommended teachers, recommended songs you can listen to, an app, a book recommendation, a lot of different things. Please don't be shy to make use of them. And you're also welcome to join us on our Discord server, which is our online meditation community, and to enjoy your breathing and be happy. Okay? Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to Brother Diamond. And see you all again soon, all right? Take care of yourself. Don't worry too much. And enjoy being here in the present moment. And know that you are exactly where you need to be. and that no one has another idea or belief or story for you that's more important, more precious, more real than breathing and being in the here and the now and stepping forth from a place of freedom. We'll listen to 3 sounds of the bell to finish our session together. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to your mindfulness, your happiness, your kindness. See you again.